Hello everyone, welcome to the next project. So this one I'm really excited about since I first laid eyes on this tool on Black Bear Forge's YouTube channel, which is really an excellent channel. The guy is just a fantastic craftsman, and he really explains things, in terms that even a guy like I can understand. So after watching a couple of his videos, I saw he was using it looked like I don't know, it looked like some sort of a ruler with a hook on it, basically. And what do you know, it's called a hook ruler. Who knew? So what he did was he actually had a small square that he modified to fit his needs. And I loved it. I thought it was a fantastic idea, something that I wouldn't mind having on the bench. So that led me to purchasing two cheap, and by cheap I mean inexpensive, not necessarily quality. These are fine levels. I mean, made in USA. It's fine, good stuff. But they're only $4 or $5 a piece at your hardware store, or at least at my hardware store. So really, if you've got the extra money just kind of burning a hole in your pocket, then this is a great way to do it. So I've gone out and I've actually marked them already. This is the one that I plan on keeping on my bench. I do a lot of small work on the bench, and it'd be nice to have a small 1-inch rule, by 1-inch rule on the top, and then I actually ran a 45-degree angle, and the 45 actually brings you down to about 1.5 inches, and rather than leave that sharp nub a 1/2 inch long, I'm gonna cut this back to 1 inch. So the final shape will be a stub nose here, a 1/2 inch tall, by a 45-degree angle into a 1-inch nub here, and then the 1 inch. So that'll be the bench version, and then the shop or project version. I'm going to class up the front end a little bit. I'm going to go for a 3-inch top, outside diameter here. And then I'm going to jazz it up a little with a curve to the 2-inch. So it'll be a 2-inch inside, 3-inch top outside, a 3.5 inch outside to outside here with the 2-inch inside. And then another feature I'm going to go for. So I scribed lines, centers across. What I want to do here is I want to punch holes at the 1-inch lines. You can see I've actually center punched some of them, and then I've got a few more to do along the way. But what I want to do with them is I want to open them up to maybe a little smaller than this diameter here. But the reason I want to do that is, maybe it'll be easier to see in this position. With the increments and a center, a 0, I could fix this point and then do arcs with it. So just a quick explanation of what I'm going to do for my hook rule. Thanks again, Black Bear Forge. But I'm going to dress up this end, punch some holes here for the shop rule, and then the bench rule I'm just going to dress up the one end. I'm going to use minimal tools for this. I'm going to try to keep it small, keep all the tools on the bench, but if I got I'm not sure what it's going to be like to cut through this, but depending, I may have to get I got a portable bandsaw I'm going to use if it comes to that, but for now it's just going to be hand tools. So I'm going to finish center punching these holes. I'm probably going to drill them out while I have the ability to clean up any sharp edges, and then I'll make my cuts, clean everything, and we'll have a look at how I'm gonna plan on using them. So stay tuned. Okay, so that went pretty well. I've got all the holes punched. You can see I didn't need a drill press or anything. Yeah, so the other side's not too bad. I didn't seem to have the sharpest bit in the box, but I think it'll definitely serve its purpose. Now, my next step will be to practice on the little guy here, but I'm gonna make my 45-degree cut, and then I'm gonna make my little 1-inch or half-inch rather nip here to just lop off that little leftover, and then on this one, something I forgot to mention and actually do yet, I'm gonna drill the majority of that material out. I'll drill a hole and then make my cut, so you'll see that. But I forgot to mention earlier if there were any questions about that. So I'm gonna grab my cutting material and we'll see what we got here. Okay, so that went pretty well. Just using the little handheld tool. I've got the sharp burr that I'll remove all around. And once that's completed, the small bench top hook rule will be completed. I've got the half-inch. I'll pull some dimensions once she's all cleaned up. I could even just kind of work that burr off. But I'll hit it with a file. I've got a small, I think they call it a spark plug file or something, but I've got a small file that'll remove that real nice. So I'll do that next, and then we'll get to working on the other one. Okay, so she's all filed up. It's about what I was expecting, to be honest. I mean, not really reinventing the wheel, but it certainly is nice to have a hook. I like that. But you know, I mean, just pulling just a number and a nice, it's a nice benchtop addition. I'll say that. So as well as that went, could probably use a little more filing, but as well as that went, ooh, I'll have to square that up a little better. I didn't realize that was so off kilter there. But yeah, really shows up on camera. But yeah, other than that, I guess on to the next one. Okay, so you saw me just kind of chipping away there, just outside of my edge there. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the little cutoff tool. I'm going to try to run a nicer cut versus the other one. This will be the shop model. This is the one I'm going to use probably most frequently. So I want it to be a little nicer than the little guy, the little bench guy. So I'm just going to nip that off, cut off what I can with the cut off wheel, and then throw a different type of, like, it's like a little drum sander wheel on there, and just see if I can't get rid of the rest of that material. But I'm going to try to cut away as much as I can. So, you know, put your glasses on. Alright guys, so that went pretty well. You saw me cleaning up the holes right at the end there, just to put a little bevel on them, just to help get your utensil in there. So everything pretty much went as expected. I'm glad I did the test piece first, just to sort of, these edges could all get softened a little more. I just want to proceed with the video, I suppose. So, but yeah, everything turned out much nicer on this one than the test model, which we'll call the bench model. But yeah, the bench model turned out nice. The shop model, or you know, the one that's actually going to be put into use for the most of it, turned out really well. I'm really happy. So thanks again to Black Bear Forge for pointing me in the right direction. So I appreciate that. Anytime I can add a tool to the bench or the box is much appreciated. So hey, thanks for hanging.